Okay, so let's see PMMC, permanent magnet moving coil. This is how the arrangement looks like. Okay. Uh, uh, Here you can see this is one big circle I've made. This is one full. You can see horseshoe. You might have seen the horseshoe. Likewise, you have a permanent magnet. You can check out in the Google. So once you will write horseshoe type permanent magnet, it looks like this, where this part at the end parts you have a north pole and a south pole. That is how you can imagine the permanent magnet. Okay, the rest of the part I have shown it in dotted lines just for your reference, but we only require the end parts. Okay, that is north pole and south pole. Now here in the center I have made some sheets. You can see this is like this. Okay, so the same thing I have made here just to show you some details. So with the blue lines I have shown the wires, okay, which is having n turns, 1 2 3 4 5, like this n turns it is having, and it is some wrapped over some holder. Okay, this is your length of the wire, or you can say coil, and this is the length of your coil. Okay, or you can say wire as well. We'll use the term coil. Okay, so this is what it is here. So I have made 3 shades just to give you a feel of turns. Okay, and turns are there. So this is your coil is, and it is mounted over a rod. You can see the springs are attached, and it is the end points are attached to pivot just to hold this rod. Okay, this spring is provided to for controlling torque. Okay, so you can imagine spring mechanism of controlling. Okay, so we don't require this part, we only require this part. So this is what you can imagine here. You just rotate it 90° clockwise, you'll get this. Okay, so here this is the same thing here, and this is your north and south pole. Okay, the same thing we are this is what we are looking from this side. Okay, here, so we have turned it 90°. So the coil is now along the fields. These are field lines. Okay, and here it is perpendicular to the field lines. So it is not arranged like this, it is arranged like this, but just to give you some details I made it in this way. Okay, so it is always kept in this way. So 90° clockwise, just rotate it 90° clockwise. Okay, just clockwise you rotate, and you will get this structure. Okay, so here this is your L part, this is your B part, L part, B part. Okay, LB. So I hope you got the feel. Okay, so now we'll see this. Here you can see the current will be I. Okay, this is the current in the coil. Now north pole and south pole will generate a magnetic field, constant magnetic field. Okay, whose magnetic field flux density will be B. Okay, represented by B. Current is like this. Okay, so what will happen, we know from the Lorentz force equation, if current carrying conductor is placed in the magnetic field, a force will be acted on the conductor, which is given by L into I cross B. This is the vector product between I and B, where B is the flux density produced by these magnets, and I is the current in the coil, and L is the length of the coil. Okay, so you can open it L into I mod B mod into sin theta, where theta is the angle between I and B. Okay, so now look at the different parts. So if you see this part, the current is in this direction. the B is also in this direction, so the angle is 0 degree between these two. Okay, so sine 0 will be 0, so no force will be acted on this part of the wire. If you come to this part of the wire, you have B in this direction, I in this direction, so the angle between these two is 90 degree, you can see. Okay, so sine 90 will be 1. Similarly here, if you will come, I will be in this direction, B is in this direction, the angle between them is 180 degree. Sine 180 is 0, again the force will be 0, so in this part also it will be 0. And in this part, if you will come, the current is in this direction, B is in this direction, so the angle is again 90 degree between these two, so sine 90 will be 1, so F will be LIB. So what you summarize from this, for these top and bottom parts the force will be 0, and for these side parts the force will be ILB. Okay, so each force will be here, ILB and ILB. This is the magnitude. What will be the direction? So you can use the Fleming's left hand rule. So this is the current, and this is the magnetic field, this is the current, so this will be the force. So if you look at this one, you will have current, magnetic field, F. So F is perpendicular to the plane of the whiteboard and it is upward. Okay, similarly here, if you will put, this is, so it will be like this. Okay, so you can see I is here, yes, B is this, so B will be like this. Okay, downwards, so perpendicular to the plane of whiteboard and downwards in the direction. Okay, so the magnitude will be ILB, and here the force will be upward, here will be force will be downward. Okay, so this is like trying to rotate in this way. Okay, so that is how you calculate the force. Now we will calculate the torque, damping deflection torque, how you gonna calculate with this, and we will focus on this part. I hope everything is clear here. Okay, okay, so let's look at the coil part only. Okay, so this is your coil part I made, this box, length is L, breadth is B, total B. Here the force is acting perpendicular to the surface of whiteboard, it is downward. Here the force is acting here is perpendicular to the plane of whiteboard, that is upward. Okay, like this, and here it is like going inside, and here it is coming up. Okay, so this point. Now I made something called axis of rotation, with which it is rotating like this. Okay, so in center it is the axis of rotation, I think it is rotating like this. So this is what I made. Now the torque which we will calculate will be based upon this axis of rotation. Okay, how it is defined? So the torque is defined as force into perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation. This is also a vector, this is also a vector. Okay, and it's a cross product. So F cross the perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation. Now this can be written as mod of F into mod of perpendicular distance sine theta. Theta is the angle between F and perpendicular distance. So you can see here, if you will calculate, since F is in upward, perpendicular upward to the plane of whiteboard, upward, and the distance is b by 2 from the axis of rotation, so the angle between these two will be 90 degree. So we can write F mod F into mod perpendicular distance. Here also, if you will see, the distance from the axis of rotation is b by 2 and force is perpendicularly downwards, so angle between them is 90 degree. So for both of them it will be mod F and mod D. Okay, now mod F you know NIBL, and mod D you know the perpendicular distance is b by 2, so NIBL small b divided by 2 will be the torque for cross force, for this force. Okay, that is acting here, so it will be downwards, force will be downwards, perpendicular distance is b by 2, so you are getting torque in upward direction. Okay, so you can think you can use Fleming's left hand rule. So this is, if you kept force inside, this is the perpendicular distance, then this will be the torque. Okay, this will be the torque direction. That is why I made this. Now here also you will get the same value, NIBLB by 2. The torque will be in upward direction. Again you use it. This is the force, so force you keep like this. Okay, so force, perpendicular distance, and this will be the torque direction. Okay, so force, perpendicular distance, torque. So force is coming out, this is perpendicular distance B by 2, this will be the torque. So for this force also, the torque direction is upward. For this force also, the torque direction is upward. So we can add both of these torques and we will get total torque, that is torque because of dot force and torque because of cross force. So total if you will do, these are same, that is why you will get NIB L into small b. Now L into small b, you can write the area of the coil, that is A. Okay, and this I have written is a area of the core. Okay, so now you got TD is equal to, that is deflecting torque is NIB into A, where N is the number of turns via you turn the coil, number of turns of coils, I is the current in the coil, B is the magnetic field flux density because of the permanent magnet, that is constant, and A is the area of the coil. So you can see N, I and B will be constant. B is constant because it is generated from a permanent magnet. Okay, and A is constant, area will be constant, and N will be constant number of turns. So the deflecting torque will be proportionally to current in the coil. Okay, the more will be the current in the coil, the more will be the deflection. The less will be the current in the coil, the less will be the deflection in the pointer. Okay, so that's how you get the torque relation. Now one thing I want to mention here, we have not added the force, but we have added the torques. We have not added the force because they are acting on the different positions. Okay, here you can see, if they would have been acted on same point, one upward, one downward, then we could have write F net is equal to 0, but they are acting on the different positions, one is upward, one is downward. That is why we can't add both of these forces, and hence you will not get zero torque, zero net force. Okay, here the net force can be 0, but here net force cannot be 0 because they are acting on the different positions. Okay, so that is why we have not added the force, but we are adding the torque because the torque has been calculated with respect to the same axis of rotation. Okay, the axis of rotation matters. We have calculated the torque for this force from this axis of rotation. Similarly, we have calculated the torque for this force from this axis of rotation. For same axis of rotation, we are getting in the same direction torque, and that is why we have added both of them and we got the relation. Okay, I'll give you a nice illustration, Wikipedia illustration of how you can imagine torque. Okay, it's not easy to look here, but I'll give you a illustration, simple illustration, so that you can imagine how it is rotating, how the force is acting, and how the torque is seen. Okay. Okay, just to give you a better picture of torque, there is a really nice animation in Wikipedia's page of torque. So if I click here, so you can see this is the perpendicular distance connecting the ball and this rotor. Okay, so this red one is perpendicular distance, and this is applying the force here. So you are getting the torque in upward direction. When it is applying the force on the other direction, you get a torque in down direction. Respective color will give you this torque. Okay, there is angular momentum as well, but we don't require angular momentum. I just want to give you a feel of torque. This is the perpendicular distance and this is the force. So you got torque upside, and if you apply the force in the other direction, your torque is in the opposite direction. Okay, so in our case this is B by 2. Okay, and this is the force NIAB, and then you got a torque direction, and we got torque direction in the same direction we are getting torque. That is why we are adding the torques. Okay, now since you got the expression for deflecting torque, you can get the expression for controlling torque from controlling mechanisms. Okay, just like air damping or fluid air damping, I'm telling, from spring control or gravity control, you can those are the controlling mechanisms. From there you can get TC and proportional to theta, or TC proportional to either sine theta. Either one of them depends upon which controlling mechanism has been used. And now under equilibrium condition, you can say TD is equal to TC. Your deflecting torque will be equal to controlling torque, and which can be written as some constant with I and some another constant with theta in this case, and then you will get I is proportional to theta. So the more the current will be, the more will be the deflection. Similarly, if you use this controlling mechanism, I will be proportional to sine theta. Okay, so this is how you can see how the deflection occurs in PMMC. Now we will see how you can use this device as ammeter and voltmeter.